Hello and good morning, everybody. This is Meg at Chasing Retro, and I wanted to come on today for a video that's going to be sort of a jumbled mix of several things. Lots of exciting things coming up, so thank you for joining me today and listening to what I have to share. The first thing I wanted to show you is some happy mail that I received from Mardell. Mardell is such a sweetheart. She always finds the most amazing vintage goodies, and she has sent me happy mail in the past, but she wrote me to ask if it would be too late to mail some things that she had found for Heidi journals. Unfortunately, I did finish those up, Mardell, and send them on out. If that's what this is, rest assured, Mardell, I will use them in another capacity. I have so many more themes coming up, so many more themes in my brain, just churning around. So I guarantee you that these will not go unused. I have a feeling that if it is the colors that were in these journals, the colors will be expandable to others as well, because oh my goodness, those colors are just amazing. The reds and the blues, you know, you can use those in back to school journals or just general childhood journals. So let me show you the envelope. I'm pretty sure she made this from scratch. I covered up the addresses, but look at this. Isn't that the truth? Especially my cat. I had to take our senior cat, he's 15 and a half, to the vet yesterday, and he just has chronic ear issues, and we found out yesterday he has a heart murmur as well. So he was not very happy with me last night when I brought him home after the vet. And I guarantee you, if I had texted him at bedtime to see how he was doing, he would have not responded. But look at these fun stamps. She weighed the package and put enough stamps on there. I don't even know how you collected this many stamps, Mardell. That's pretty cool. And this looks like a calendar or a book page or something. And then on the back, I have her address covered as well. I have so many fun things. Grumpy cat, again, my cat yesterday. And this adorable little sticker. So thank you, Mardell, for sending this. And rest assured, though the Heidi journals are on their way to their new owners, I will use every bit of what you send me. It's so funny, every time I start a video, the clock chimes. I never think to look first to see if it's gonna chime. Oh well. All right, let's look at these beautiful things. Oh yes, we have some quilting calicos. Oh, this is lovely. It's actually kind of fall colors too. So pretty. I think I don't have all my lights on today. I just have my lamps on, but it looks like a black and orange. Could be dark brown though. And then we have this beautiful green. Oh yeah, these will be totally useful for any application. There's my bird clock. Look how cute this is. So when I do the houses and home journals, which I know I said I was going to do them last winter and I did not. I really hope to do the houses and home journals this January, just because it'll be winter and cozy. I plan to use a lot of heart fabrics and calico patterns, because I think about this type of stuff when I think about home, just because that's how my mom used to decorate the home I grew up in. So that'll be perfect for that. And this looks like a tablecloth. How fun. Look how beautiful these are. And some beautiful red. Honestly, I could use this for my Christmas journals, if you wouldn't mind me using them for that. I am thinking about doing a patchwork journal or two. I have not made a patchwork cover in a very long time, and I kind of miss it. It's pretty tedious. It's probably the cover that takes the longest to do, but I really like the way they turn out. So, and then look at these beautiful. This looks like if you were to show me a picture of a shirt that was made in the 80s, like a short sleeved feminine blouse. This is the perfect fabric for that. I love this. And then Mardell always finds these, I guess they're called charm squares, but they're, let's see, 7 by 7 charms, very large charm squares, enough to make like 4 good sized tags out of. She has sent some to me in the past. So fun. Look at this with the strawberries on it. Strawberries and heart, I guess heart-shaped strawberries in a way. And then these beautiful little red and yellow flowers. So cool. This one is amazing. Oh, this is sweet. Little tulips. And then this looks very 1940s. Whatever this pattern is with the scalloped edged circles that you see, I always think about the 1940s when I see that. Thank you, Mardell. That is so awesome. Oh, I see a little bag over here. I'll totally toss it aside. Let's see what's in here. It looks like Mardell has been crafting. Oh, here's a note. Let me read it. Little extras for future use. Happy fall and happy crafting. Same to you, Mardell. I have that same stamp. It's a Stampin' Up stamp and I love it. It's like a background floral repeating pattern. I love using that stamp. Look how cute this is. So you must have a die cutter that has the little perforated embossing edging. That's cool. I need to look for one like that. That's one of the hardest things to find at the craft reuse store, dies and punches. Punches, I guess, are easier to find, but the dies, you know, as you know, sometimes they get donated in a package and you can't, like the original packaging is gone, and so you're staring at these shapes going, I don't even know what these are supposed to be. But yeah, this is cool. I would love to find a circle punch like that. That's awesome. And of course, that is totally Meg at age 7 right there in my happy place with cats all around me. This one is slightly embossed on the edge too. How cool. That's cool. It looks like you put these onto cardstock and then punch them after that. Amazing. Oh yeah, these will be great for the Christmas journals. These, I actually bought last year a vintage ornament set like this with the beads and the pins, and I ended up not making them. I ended up just using the sequins and beads for other projects, but this is so cute. It's a snowman, but it's a very unlikely setting that he's in. I guess he is casting off his winter gear and running into summer or spring. That's really fun. Oh yeah, this will be great for Christmas too. A lot of these will. Look at that. How sweet. Ooh, I like the little dotted edge on that. Mardell, you'll have to tell me what dies these are. I am, as y'all know, I am new in the die cutting arena and I am learning the ropes. These are those slang, modern slang flashcards. That is hilarious. Oh, I have to leave these out to show these to my kids tonight at dinner. They're gonna love that. I'm always trying to keep up with the latest lingo. So when I use a word that they're using, that the Gen Z is using, they completely lose it. They're like, Mom, how did you hear that word? How do you even know what it means? I wonder if my parents had that much trouble. I don't know. All right, the next thing I want to show you is, I haven't even opened this bag since last week. These are the small number of items that I picked up when I was volunteering last week. I really, I try not to buy something every time I go, but you know, sometimes you just have to. I mean, there's something there and you're like, I can't not get this because it will not be here next week. But I did try to be a little more selective this time. So this was, I wasn't sure if it was vintage or not. So I ended up using the Google, what do you call it? The Google image search, which I guess is AI of some sort. But it didn't really yield much. So I started looking at it closer, and I'm like, okay, here's a name brand. Where was it? Here it is. Lowenstein and Sons Incorporated Designers Corner. So I Googled this company, M. Lowenstein, and sure enough, it was a company in New York. This guy and his sons started a fabric company, and it started in like 1910 or maybe even before 1900, and then phased out by the 80s. It was gone, I think. So I knew this was probably 60s or 70s, and it's a really lovely, really thin but very tightly woven cotton. And I love the color combo. It's very, I wouldn't say unusual, but it's not really like a lot of the stuff that I have. I tend to gravitate toward pinks in every phase of life, like every facet of life, but this, for some reason, and I tend to gravitate away from aqua and lime, but for some reason, this was striking to me because it was paired with the brown and the hunter. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think of this one. I thought it would be a really pretty journal cover with just a simple cover image. And it could be universal theme. It could be an eclectic theme to use all year round or whatever. And then I found this piece. This was actually not with the fabric. It was set down in part of the store where we have like kids crafts, where there's like sequins and glitter and doilies and foam craft kits and that kind of stuff. And I guess somebody maybe at the last minute decided against buying this and set down some stuff before they got to the register because there were other things next to it. And I can't help but to put on the retail employee face because I worked in retail for so many years. Before I could leave, I had to pick up the other things that were not in the right place and put them where they were supposed to go. But I ended up keeping this piece because it was amazing. It's black with neon. And again, I have nothing like this in my stash. So, and it's more of a thicker, stiffer material than what I just showed you. That one was very fluid. This one is more substantial. Maybe it just has the sizing still in it. I don't know. But really fun. Again, it would make a cool eclectic, but also a 60s theme journal. And then I found some scraps. I found this one. This is knit. And I don't always grab the knits because they're just, you know, as you know, they're a little bit harder to work with and they're hard to sew. But I thought I would get this for, what are they called? Snippets? Clusters, fabric clusters. And it would be a nice backdrop or base to a fabric cluster, or maybe a solid with this on top for some more substantial backing. And it was just, you know, if it's 25 cents for a scrap and it's a cute pattern, why not? Just grab it. I really need to mass make some clusters badly. Maybe I'll do that on camera. This was in the scrap bin. I couldn't believe it. This is a vintage baby bib with embroidery and adorable little delicate lace trim and the little mother of pearl button. It's got some staining, but I'm going to try to soak it in OxyClean. But this brand we used to sell at the children's shop. When I worked at the specialty children's shop, we sold a lot of Feltman Brothers. A lot of people would use it for portraits or even for christening and things like that. But when I saw this brand, I was like, oh, I haven't thought about that brand in so long. It's funny the things that end up in a scrap pile, right? And then this. I have had this lovely Christmas holly fabric before, but I think I used up all of it last year. So this is a pretty good size piece, and I was excited to find it in the scrap. And this will be perfect if I end up doing the patchwork covers. I'm on my second cup of coffee of the morning, so. Okay, this is, it's considered a scrap, even though I think it was gonna be a pillow because They sewed all around it, turned it right side out, and left this probably for stuffing. But oh my goodness, how can you not? Christmas and teddy bears together. Yeah, I had to get that little piece. And y'all look at this. This is, you know, quilting cotton. It's a half a yard. And it is very unlikely, but it kind of reminded me of six geese a laying. But of course, it's like the country geese, kind of 80s feel too. So, and he's wearing a wreath around his neck. I mean, how cute is that? And I guess that's mistletoe because the berries are white. And then while we're talking about Christmas, look at this. I didn't really love this red wine color crochet or eyelet, but I know that I will probably make at least one Christmas journal with less of a vibrant red and more of this maroon. So I grabbed this, and this is very bright red. And it almost looks wool, like, you know how crochet is normally a stiff cotton? This one actually is, I don't think it's wool. Maybe it is. Oh my gosh, is this a wool blend? I thought maybe it was just acrylic because, you know, like my sweater, it has that fuzzy look to it, but it's very scratchy. It might have some wool in this yarn, which is very interesting. I don't think I've ever seen a wool trim before. And I don't know what this pattern is called. They look like eyes, but pretty fun. I'll go ahead and take this out of the bag. This is just pretty. Very nice. All right. I found two. I don't always find this stuff at the reuse store. This is hemp beading cord, and I like to use this when I make the, well, I say that. I have recently switched when I make my beaded charm tassels instead of ribbon tassels. When I make the beaded ones with the buttons and everything, I used to use wax thread, but I honestly don't like the way the wax continues to kind of shed off, and it makes your fingers sticky when you touch it and stuff. Ugh. So I decided, you know what? Now that I have a bead threader and I can accommodate a wider thread, why don't I get some hemp beading cord and try that? So if I decide to do some beading on some beaded tassels on the Christmas journals, I now have a, I guess, generic color to use, because I think the only thing that I have right now is bright colors or fluorescents. I bought those for the 80s journals. So this will be nice. I actually had black in my hand too, and when I got to the register, it was not there. So I must have accidentally set it back down, which was really sad because I went back to see if it was in the bin and it was gone. So I don't know, but I'm on the lookout for black. All right, this was very interesting. Someone had donated a large box of just sewing notions, and tucked in it was a hand-typed pattern for like a dress, and then several other things for the home. But look at this. Someone had made a girl's dress pattern out of an old shopping bag. And I was like, that's interesting. So I Googled this name and some of these, you know, some of these landmarks, and turns out this is Alabama. So if you're in Alabama, I know Muscle Shoals, they say that in Sweet Home Alabama, but evidently Helen Keller's birthplace, and Wilson Dam, but evidently Owens of Sheffield. When I first saw it, I thought it was England, but I think it's Alabama. And I think it's like some sort of like, or used to be, I don't know if it's still there, like a recreational park. And so that's why they have the skiing ladies. I don't know if it's on the Gulf Coast or not. If you're an Alabama native, let me know. But then they have all these little landmarks too from the state, which was cool. So I have several pieces of that. And I talked to the volunteer coordinator, and I showed her what I had found. And I said, can I buy these? And she was like, we're just going to throw them away. So I guess you can just take them. And I was like, okay, well, I will not throw them away. I will turn them into ephemera. So I got excited at first because I thought this was a retail store and I was going to use it in the retail journals, but it's not. But that's okay. I can still use this as backing for cards and tags. And then we've got somebody's handwriting, see, on the back too. And then I grabbed this too. She said I could take this as well. This was in the same box. It's just a lovely hand-drawn directions on a pattern. So really cool, really fun. Okay, I have one more thing. Let me open it off camera because it's loud. Okay, it's just a scrap bag. And honestly, I bought this entire scrap bag for this one piece right here. I saw this little prairie looking vintage fabric and these beautiful blues and greens. And I was like, oh, I have to have that. And it's also very thin broadcloth. I love how they just wrapped all of the little dangly pieces up and let you have every bit of it. And let's see what else is in here. This is lovely, actually. This would be beautiful for spring. It looks like quilt edging because it's that long, narrow piece. And another piece of that. Oh, two more pieces of that. And then this is lovely too. Very feminine. And then this piece, which looks kind of like a swimming pool. So I'll probably save this for my future ocean/mermaid journals. It's very cool. I can't tell if it's water or marble, but it's a pretty ocean color. So, all right, that was my items purchased while volunteering or after volunteering this week. All right, 2 announcements. Number 1, I have decided to revamp my Amazon affiliate purchasable items. So for the longest time, you guys have probably noticed at the end of every YouTube video in the description box, I just had a long list of Amazon links to some of my favorite products that I use while junk journaling. Well, not only is that sort of overwhelming to the eye, it just, I don't know, I felt like my description box was just going on and too long. So I've been looking for a solution, and then it hit me the other day. I wonder if I'm eligible for an Amazon storefront. So started researching it. I don't know what the minimum threshold is, but you do have to have some social media followers in order to turn your affiliate account into one that has a storefront. And long story short, I did. And funny, ironic thing is I decided to do it on the day that the AWS had a DNS, you know, the big outage that happened all over the world Monday with Amazon. And so it wasn't working, and I thought it was something I was doing wrong. And then I had someone else reach out to me and say that they were trying to look at my affiliate links that I had in my description box and nothing was loading. And I was like, oh man, maybe it's not me. And then of course I looked at the news and I was like, yeah, okay, I'm not crazy. So I ended up setting it aside and going back to it yesterday, and I finished it up. So my shop is now open, and I will link my storefront link in the description box, and from now on that will be the only, it will just be one link instead of 50 different items, which is amazing. And if you would like to purchase any of these items through my affiliate links, I would greatly appreciate it. But you don't have to. I'm not telling you to do that. This is just an option. I just thought it would be a fun way to put all of my favorite items together visually. So instead of just a long text list, now you will have an actual, almost like a Pinterest, because it's actual square images with links of the items that I use and love every day. And I think that's pretty cool. And I tried to organize them into sections by type of item. And I'm still kind of learning my way around. They've just added some new features like a curation that you can put at the top of your store. And I'm going to play around with that later. That may be something that I switch out seasonally depending on what journals I'm currently working on, or, you know, what holidays are nearby or whatever. I also may expand a little bit past junk journaling and put in some of my just favorite Amazon items in general that I use every day in my life and consider very worth the money. if that would help any of you guys. But yeah, thank you for considering that. And it's been fun. It's kind of like setting up my own store. I guess it is. Okay, the next thing I wanted to share with you is, I know I've been talking about it for a long time, but it's finally here. I have decided on and signed up for an email newsletter platform. The reason it took me so long is because I have something called FOMO, which is kind of like FOMO, but instead of fear of missing out, it's fear of better options. And so I spent the last, 4 months, my husband got involved too, because he likes to help with research. And I literally thought I had the right platform. And then I was like, oh, no, you know what? This other one over here, it has this, but it also has this, but it doesn't have this, but it might have this. And it was just constantly back and forth and back and forth. And finally I was like, you know what? I have to make a decision. I have to nail this down. So I did. And I am working on my first newsletter, and it will go out on or around November 1st. So if you would like to be on the recipient list of the newsletter, it's free. I will show a picture here of what the web page will look like when you go to sign up for this newsletter. It's basically a landing page that just catches email addresses that are put into it. And your email will go directly into my secure newsletter email database. So I'm not going to share your email. I'm not going to show your email. I'm not going to sell your email. This is just personally to go into my personal database, that when I decide to put out a newsletter, all those email addresses will receive it. You may have to check your spam filters, a week or so in if you haven't seen it come through. I don't really know how that works, but hopefully it will work. So I'll put a link to that landing page in my description box as well. I'm very excited about the newsletter. I have some ideas of what type of things I'm going to include in them, but that's still fluid, so I don't want to share too much of that right now. But just know that it's like a way for me to share more with you guys. Not really exclusive things, because it's open to anybody. It's not like a paid tier or something. But things that I would love to share with you guys that I don't necessarily feel like I want to put on a video. Just more fun. Fun delivered to your email inbox monthly. Let's just call it that. Creative, fun, extra bonus things. So I promise I will not, like I said, open you up to anything knowingly that would create more spam hitting your email inbox, because I understand that's annoying. I have to clear some out every day in my own. All right, I think I've covered everything. We have the Happy Mail from Mardell. Thank you, Mardell. And the Christmas fabrics and other things from the reuse store. And then the announcement about the Amazon storefront and the newsletter. I'm very excited about these two things. Thank you for sticking with me this whole time, and I will see you very, very soon. Goodbye.